somewhere in Waldo County, I'll find what I'm looking for. There's liberty and freedom, unity and more, and I know that I will find it. There's so much to explore, from Prospect to Palermo to the quiet Passy shore.
Well, I was strolling down the streets of Belfast, and I looked in a window that I hadn't noticed before, and there was this beautiful array of fiber arts, and my friend Alice Seeger was in there, and I said, "Hey, has this been here a while?" She said, "Well, it's pretty new. We're having our grand opening tomorrow." So, Alice, tell me about your business.
Well, we're called Belfast Fiberarts, and we've been here since October 5th, so it's just about 2 months now. And it's not just a retail store. What we're standing in is the retail store, which is mostly consignment, and it's representing 8 various artists, all living and working in Maine. But if you go into the next room, we have supplies, materials, equipment. I'm an Ashford spinning wheel dealer. I also sell Harrisville looms. So it's not just the products that people make, but the equipment and the materials to make them with. A little further down the hall, we have a community makerspace.
Wow.
And it's filled with all kinds of equipment, from looms to sewing machines. I'm getting a flatbed knitting machine and a serger, with the idea that, hey, if you don't have a piece of equipment, that shouldn't stop you from making beautiful things. So you can come down to the makerspace and work in collaboration with another artist, or you could just design something and make it yourself. We'll be offering workshops and classes, everything from children's sewing classes starting at age 10, right on up to anything that you want to learn. We've been doing needle punch, it's like a rug hooking technique, but it's with a tool called a punch needle. We've been doing needle felting, we've been doing wet felting, basket making, anything that has to do with fiber. You can find it or learn about it here.
Well, that's really neat. You know, I was thinking about one of the first times I got to know you, and it was over at Fiber College. And as I recall, that's one of the reasons that brought you to the area originally, right?
Well, first we sailed. You know,
Yes.
Nick and I sail, and we made it up to Penobscot Bay, and the most beautiful place in the world and the best sailing in the world. So, gee, I'm a weaver. Maybe there's something I could find to do in mid-coast Maine, and discovered Fiber College. That was 13 years ago, and it took a little while to get things settled out, but that's why we're here in Belfast.
Well, you know, Fiber College is wonderful, but it primarily is, you know, one long weekend in September. This is something that's going to be around year-round.
Yes, a year-round Fiber College. Well, not exactly Fiber College, but we get to play with beautiful colors and beautiful textures and great designs, and do it together in a wonderful community of people.
So, is there one area that you find people are most interested in? Like, do you find that most people want to know about felting or want to do weaving? What's hot in the world of fiber arts?
We're still finding that out. I'm hearing a little bit about mending and visible mending and recycling and upcycling. So using materials that are already created for something, but using them in a different way or extending their life. So I'm talking with a friend who does Japanese buro, which is a visible mending technique. So we hope to have something like that coming up in the winter.
When you say visible mending technique, I remember seeing somebody who had some blue jeans mended, but they used gold thread, so you knew that it was mended, but it was almost like an artistic expression. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, absolutely. Instead of trying to hide the mending, you accentuate it and make it a new design element. And it takes a little bit more skill than you might think, but it's really satisfying because you get to wear that favorite pair of jeans or that favorite sweater for a lot longer.
Right. I was thinking that if I were mending with a black thread, you wouldn't see my poor mending. But if you're using, you know, glowing gold, your stitching should, where you stitch makes a difference.
Yeah, your stitching has to be well done But anyway, so that's why we're having someone who's been studying this technique for over 20 years and has traveled to Japan a number of times and has made it her life study. So it'll be fun to have her share that with us.
So you're reaching out to people in the community with knowledge in the fiber arts to put on workshops. Do you put on workshops yourself?
Yes, my field of expertise is a weaver. I've been weaving for 40 years, and I've been teaching for almost all of that. I was a production weaver for many years, making fabric that sold in very high-end department stores throughout the country. And so I have an opportunity to share that with people here in Mid-Coast Maine. Several of the looms in the studio right now are set up with a warp, that's the threads that go on the loom, so that anyone can come in and sit down and weave, even if they have no experience whatsoever. And within a couple of hours, we can cut it off and they'll go home with something that they made themselves, and it's really beautiful and satisfying. So it's kind of my tricky way of getting people interested, because many people think that weaving is complicated or time-consuming, which it can be, but we've taken all of that difficulty away, and they can just sit down at the loom and make something beautiful.
That sounds really great. Well, now I was noticing that there's like an application. So is this, you could become a member in the
Yes.
community? Tell me a little bit how that works.
Well, we have a community membership that's $120 for the year, so it works out to be $10 a month. The membership will give you 10% off materials and supplies when you purchase them, 10% off any workshops or classes, and the opportunity to stop in at any time and use the Makerspace and the equipment free of charge. And there's complimentary beverages, too. We've got a coffee pot set up in the back.
Oh, that sounds great.
It's already starting to happen that people are saying, hey, let's go down to Belfast Fiberarts and spend some time working together. So we had a little gathering very spontaneously the other day of people doing handwork together. So I'm hoping that that'll start happening more and more.
So I'm trying to tell people where, let's see, you're right next, are you part of the mini mall or right next to the little?
We're part of the mini mall.
Okay, so it's really great to see something bright and vibrant in this spot, because it seems like the mini mall is like one of those last undiscovered places of Belfast.
Well, I really like this space because of its versatility. As I say, I've got the front room for finished product, I have a space for materials and supplies, and I have a makerspace all built into this one place. And if I need to expand, there's a lot of little rabbit warrens in the back that we could move out into. So, and it's already starting to make a change here at the mini mall, because we have neighbors in the back who, the Twin Feathers, and they do I'm not going to do it justice, but they have a wellness center back there.
Oh, wow.
And they came because they heard about us, and we're changing the whole vibe here at the mini mall.
Very good, very good. Well, I just think it's so wonderful. You know, you think about places like Waterfall Arts, which are wonderful, but lately there have been some downtown, like the Pottery Studio
Right.
down there, which is sort of in its own way a similar concept. And so it's really wonderful to have this combination of retail shop and creative place for
space.
artists to maybe discover that they're artists, you know.
That's right. I think that Belfast is becoming a place where people could come and spend some time and learn how to throw a pot, weave a dish towel, knit a hat, and you can find all of that within walking distance right here in Belfast.
All right, well, I've been speaking with Alice Seeger, and could you just tell me when you're open so that people can stop by and discover for themselves what a wonderful place you have?
Well, thanks, Ned. We're open from 10 to 6, Tuesday through Saturday, noon to 5 on Sunday, and for the moment, we're closed on Mondays, but we'll be open Mondays during the summer.
All right, thanks so much for letting me come and talk to you in such a spontaneous manner.
Well, it's good to see you.
Good to
Thanks
see
so
you,
much
too.
for coming.